welcome in to Listen Up. I'm Joey Chincali here with Alex Coma. Apparently it's Casual Thursday, but no one let me in on the big old joke. Let's get right to the top 5 topics. The NBA playoffs have started. We've seen a lot of chalk so far, but which underdog do you think has the best chance of getting a first-round upset?
Well, considering that there are only 2 series, even tied at 1 right now,
This is true.
we don't really have a lot of options. It really kind of comes down to either Bulls-Nets out in the East, and that's the 4-5 matchup, so it's an upset if the Bulls win. And a little more upset watch is certainly the Nuggets-Warriors, and that's the infinitely more interesting series to me. I'll talk about, Bulls-Nets. I don't really want to. I think that
I
the
can talk
Bulls...
about them.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I'll keep it brief then. But basically, I feel like they're being kept in it basically solely by Tom Thibodeau's defense. Joakim Noah, I give him so much credit for playing through the plantar fasciitis. Wow, that's a hard word.
It's a tough one.
That's a tough one, but foot injury. How about that?
Ooh.
And still gets a double-double in Game 2 with 11 points and 10 rebounds.
Pretty crazy.
It was a really impressive performance. I just don't know how often he can make that happen. I think that, obviously if he can and Luol Deng can keep up the scoring, then maybe they got a chance. But Darren Williams has been playing really well right now, and, really since the All-Star break, he's been a whole different player. So it's really hard to deny that. Like I said, I think that Nuggets-Warriors is infinitely more interesting. I think that, the Nuggets, they needed that comeback, that, Andre Miller trickery just to win Game 1 at the last second, and then Golden State comes back and blows them out at home. That was a fun game, but also very much one that the Warriors deserved to win. Even without David Lee, Stephen Curry playing out of his mind, and if they keep getting double-digit scoring from Klay Thompson and Jarrett Jack and Harrison Barnes, this might be a really fun series to watch.
I mean, I think that you hit the nail on the head. Those are the 2 series. Obviously, we kind of cheated by picking
don't like the
those
Bucks?
because it's 1-1 at the moment, and the Bucks will literally not sniff a game.
No.
You can quote me on that one. But for me, I think I'm actually going to go with the Bulls over the Nets as my one series because of that defense. Really, you spelled it out for me. I think that because they can slow down the series, that makes it infinitely easier for them to win. Whereas the Warriors shot over 60% last game, which as incredibly good at shooting as they are, I don't foresee that happening every single game. So if I'm looking at odds here and I'm saying, will the Bulls keep up their defense or the Warriors keep up their shooting, both of which are their strengths, but still the shooting is where it feels iffier, so I'm going to go with the Bulls having the better chance of an upset. The other thing I like is Joe Johnson's now iffy for the next game, although the only one they really, really need, obviously, is Darren Williams. But for me, I just think that without David Lee, with him getting injured, they have to shoot lights out every game, and if they don't, then I think that the Nuggets are going to be able to end up taking the series. I think it's really interesting, though. I'm a fan of the Warriors. I'd like them to win this series just because they're fun to watch. I mean, it's fun to watch Steph Curry just drain threes all game long. But I think that the Nuggets end up prevailing. I do think that the home court advantage, even though they lost on home court, does come back and help them later in the series.
It certainly could. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, you mentioned their shooting percentage, 65%.
That's crazy.
Just about. I'm pretty sure that's a playoff high, which is just insane to even contemplate. But here's the thing. With this Warriors team, they're a team that can do that. Klay Thompson is very much in the mold of his counterpart, Harrison Barnes. They're very similar players to me, with Klay Thompson being, I think, a little more well-rounded, and we've seen that. He's the one scoring 20 points. And Harrison Barnes, putting him at power forward, really seemed to work for them in that last game. I just don't know that the Nuggets have anyone to take over a game the way that the Warriors do with Steph Curry. Ty Lawson, maybe, I think that there's definitely value in the way that he can dictate the pace of the game. But the Warriors like the pace of the game pretty much where Ty Lawson likes it. So I think that a lot of their advantage is kind of neutralized. It's two very similar teams playing each other. In terms of the Bulls and the Nets, I think personally that Brook Lopez has matured enough as a player, has become enough of an offensive and rebounding threat that whoever is playing center for the Bulls, whether Joakim Noah or not, is going to get worn down by that. And I personally think that that's going to be the difference for them winning. It certainly wouldn't surprise me to see Chicago take that one, but if I had to pick between these two, I would definitely say Brooklyn and Golden State.
Before we move on from this, the last thing I'll say is that it's not necessarily that I feel better about the Bulls over the Warriors. It's that I feel better about the Bulls over Brooklyn. I don't like Brooklyn. And so because of that,
neither do I. That's why it's so hard to say.
That's why I moved towards the Bulls over the Warriors. Because the Warriors were playing anyone else, I would maybe feel even better about them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, moving